these four elements. Air, the breath. Without this one here, ain't no mastery of nothing. In about 31 seconds, without some of this stuff, you're gone. Okay, so you know how important air is, or oxygen. The important thing about oxygen is that it's not just the lungs that breathe. The skin must breathe. The organs must breathe. The brain must breathe. The body breathes. There is such a thing as the breath of life. And a part of that breath of life is the prana in the air, in the oxygen that keeps us alive. We get much of it from our astral body, but we draw the rest of it from the atmosphere. So we are virtually energy beings already. We live on energy. We are a composition of energy, and we're reaching for, hungering for more energy. The breath of air itself is moved by temper and temperament. So every time you hear the word temper and temperament, you're talking heat, you're talking fire, or you're talking cold-blooded, passionless, indifferent. That's way down on the scale of temper and temperature, temperament, fire, passion, concern. Compassion takes a certain amount of fire. One has to have a certain amount of fire to be compassionate, to be loving. Of course, we're talking perfect balance in those qualities. The breath of air, if you move your breath really fast, as you do after running or after getting angry, one of our major Achilles' heel is the level of our anger. As I mentioned once before, we're not having a problem with hatred. We're having a problem with anger, because anger is what's tearing up our personal world and blocks us from the vision of our own future, the vision of our own lives. That's the breath. If you lose it, you start breathing. And I told you can hardly talk, let alone think. The breath and the mind and the imagination are interlaced. Move one and you move the others. If I can make you angry, I can control your mind. If I can change your breathing level, I can change your mentality. You see? If I can send you a telemantric thought, a picture thought that frightens, I can control your whole emotional nature. You see? Just with a picture. As to whether it's real, true, or not, it doesn't matter. If I can create a response in you. If a child can make you angry, fearful, despondent, that child becomes your master. See? Any one thing, idea, or force that can change or control your breath, your imagination, and your mind is your master. See? So it's important to keep under control your breath, your imagination, and your mind. You take, and in the technique of breath control, you're at that point in meditation or your mental experience of trying to get rid of a fearful thought or an angry thought. Because when you meditate, this stuff's going to come to the front. Something she said 12 years ago when y'all was in the bed or sitting on the couch, and you there 12 years later in a meditative posture, and this stuff comes up. And it's going to come up. It's going to come up. You have to deal with it right then. What you're doing is pulling the glue to that picture loose from it. That's the breath. There is a breath line sheath behind the physical body and between the astral and physical body. It is called the breath line. that's like glue, that seals you between this world and the inner, so that you can participate in the body. If that breath line was gone, you'd go shooting out of the body. You know, you wouldn't have anything to hold you in the body. So you got this reference. It's called the breath line that you keep breathing with. That's why so many things affect our emotions. We have a part of our nature that attaches us subjectively to the external world. You know, I mean, if we didn't, why would we be concerned if somebody got on the bus, you know, and first thing, oh shit, you know, we react because we can feel something between ourselves and that unknown person. Okay, it's the same thing with thoughts from the past, and these are the ones that do damage because we carry it from that moment of recall into the next day. You know, here's something that happened 12 years ago. We'd get up, put our clothes on, stomping and saying, bitch, and she told him, you know, I should have killed that bitch. You know, now, you know, I'm not talking about what I read in the book, I'm talking about stuff I did, you know, because I know it's real. After I found out the nature of nature, the nature of self. You know, my wife made me so, she didn't make me so mad. She did something that made me angry. That was 1967, so it was about, you know, and I was sitting in a restaurant parking lot, and I remembered something she said, and it hurt me so bad, it went right up my spine. It was hurting me, you know. It was a thought, a remembrance of something she did way back when, you know. So I had to go home and deal with that, you know. And it took most of the night, and it still wasn't all gone. You bring a thought to mind, you bring the picture there, and you breathe. You blow until the energy releases itself from the picture. Now you can tell when it does because the picture, the thought, doesn't hurt anymore. That's when you know you've detached from that past experience. Okay, now if you don't, this is the stuff that makes us sick. Angry, bitter thoughts settling in the subconscious. Okay? Because all of this is in the subconscious, your body parts. Okay? And we need to understand our thinking. With this melanin in our blood, we are moving power against ourselves with our anger, our regret, our jealousy, our suspicions, you know, our fears, our anxieties. You know, we're doing that stuff to ourselves. See? And it's done in each one of our individual nations.